What's good, YouTube, man? And welcome to another video, man. I'd appreciate if y'all gave it a like and a sub if you're feeling interested today, but let's just get right on to the video. As y'all can tell by the video, man, I want to talk about the Rockets' young core, but not just the guys who were drafted a couple of days ago. I want to talk about the guys who were here before, during, and after the Harden saga that makes this team so fun. First up, man, we're talking about 6'10" setter out of UNLV, Christian Wood, man. Now, when the Rockets picked him up from free agency a year ago, a lot of us Rockets fans were high on his potential. The 20 or so last games he did play in Detroit, he averaged almost 25 and 10, which is ridiculous for a 25-year-old center who got no playing time before. And now his first year in Houston was a success, averaging 21 points, 10 rebounds, almost 2 assists, 37% from 3, and 50% from the field goal. Man, he's improved so much. He's improved defensively during the year, improved in his passing, finding cutters, finding open three-point shooters, and becoming a real pick and pop threat with Kevin Porter and potentially Jalen Green next year. I'm really excited to see how he pairs with all of the young guys, and I'm really excited to see Christian Wood's second year. Next up, we're going to be talking about the 6'6" from IMG Academy. His name is Kenyon Martin Jr. Now, when this guy was selected with the 52nd overall pick, a lot of us Rockets fans didn't really think much of it. We just knew he was Kenyon Martin's son, and now he's shocked us all with his amazing play in year one, averaging 9 points, 5 rebounds, 50% from the field, 36% from 3. Now, if this guy can just develop a more consistent jumper, he is a pivotal role player for any playoff team looking to contend. He's shown the potential on the defensive end. He's shown the potential on the offensive end. It's just a matter of combining the two and becoming a more consistent player. Now, he's shown all the potential in the world for a second-round pick, not knocking him for anything, and he was putting up near all-star numbers at the end of the year, putting up 20 and 10, 25 and 13, and just becoming an absolute gem for Rafael Stone and for this Rockets organization. And it's these pieces that really move the needle for the rebuild and actually push it a little further than it's actually supposed to go. And I think we're a little more further in the rebuild than we initially anticipated as Rockets fans. We've really found gems in this last year's draft and in this year's draft, getting a little lucky. And I can't wait to see what Kenyon Martin does his second year. Next up, we're going to be talking about the 6'5" forward from the Sydney Kings / Ohio State. His name is Jae'Sean Tate. Now, when the Rockets picked him up a year ago, a lot of us Rockets fans didn't know who he really was. He was signed to a 3-year deal and didn't think much of it. And he shocked us all with his amazing play, averaging 11 points, 5 rebounds, 50% from the field, 30% from 3, earning all rookie first team honors. Now, this guy has the potential to be PJ Tucker-esque in the sense that he is an undersized defender. He's shown the ability to knock down the corner 3 ball. And if he can just do that at a more consistent clip as PJ Tucker did in Houston, he's a championship role player, as you've seen with PJ Tucker this year in Milwaukee. Now, he's shown the ability to drive to the cup. He's shown the ability to pass, marked by his 2.5 assists a game. And I really think he is part of this foundation with Houston and just another gem found in the rough by Rafael Stone. And I'm really, really excited to see what Jae'Sean Tate does his second year in this league. Now we're going to be talking about that 6'5" guard from USC, Kevin Porter Jr. Now, he wasn't on the Rockets roster to start the year. He had a couple of off-court issues with the Cleveland Cavaliers, which prompted him to be traded to the Houston Rockets for a heavily protected second-round pick. And that looks like an absolute fleece by the Houston Rockets. And went down to the Vipers, averaged 25 and 10, I believe. And he came up to the Houston Rockets and averaged 16 points, 6 assists. On iffy efficiency, 43% from the field and 31% from 3. But granted, those are only like 20 games or so. And I fully expect them to take a bounce in the field goal department this year and 3-point percentage. But yeah, he cornerstone for the franchise, to say the least. Everyone was doubting him. Everyone was saying he wouldn't do anything, and then he came to Houston, and yeah, it's kind of the same thing. We have Cleveland Cavalier fans hating on him because he's on our team now, but you know damn well if he was on their team they wouldn't be saying anything. So you know, we got an absolute fleece, we got a superstar in the making in Kevin Porter Jr., and I'm excited to see how he pairs up with Jalen Green. That is the number one thing that I'm looking forward to this season. Obviously John Wall kind of ruins it because he'll probably be in the lineup, in the starting lineup next to them too, so can't really see the full potential, but I can't wait to see it when I see it. Alright, now we're gonna get into the draft picks. We're gonna start with the number 2 pick in this year's draft. 6'6" guard out of G League Ignite. His name is Jalen Green. Now, I know all of y'all have heard of Jalen Green, what he can do, but I'm really excited for his potential fit with Kevin Porter, especially with Kevin Porter showing the playmaking he did last year in the games he played. Jalen Green can be that catch and shoot guy, the primary offense guy, and you know, everything. I hope he can develop a pick and roll game with a big. I hope he can develop his passing to become a Zach LaVine type of Bradley Beal type of passer, 5 assists a game, 4 assists a game, and you know, just improve defensively. And I think he can do all of those things. I think he can be a perennial, you know what I'm trying to say. I think he can be an all NBA player. I think he can be the best of his class. I think he can be better than Cade, and you can call me crazy, but I think he can be better than Cade, and he just shows everything that I want to see on the court from a guy his age, and I think he's gonna be great. And if those two mesh, then we got a championship core right there in the backcourt of the future, and you best believe I'm buying both of them guys' jersey, man. But I'm excited to see year 1 with Jalen Green, bro. Alright, now we're going to be talking about the number 16th selection of this year's draft. Houston decided to trade 2 future first-round picks for this number 16th selection, and they ended up with the Turkish MVP. Now, Şengün for Beşiktaş last year averaged 19 points, 10 rebounds, 2.5 assists on 64% shooting from the field, 19% from 3, but he didn't take as many attempts. He barely took 1 a game, and he shot 81% from the free throw line, so that should be a good sign that he will improve to the 3-point line. Now, he's a back to the basket big that has shown the ability to stretch the floor at times. He shows that promise. He shows he can create for others by the 2.5 assists a game. Just a crafty player. There's no real NBA comparison for him. I've seen people throw out that he is a Nikola Jokic, Domantas Sabonis type of player. I can see that, and he kind of reminds me more of Sabonis than Jokic, just for the fact that Jokic can actually space the floor. And don't get me wrong, Şengün has the potential to do that, but he just more reminds me of Domantas Sabonis' play style and how he plays, and I'm really excited to see how he fits into this roster, how he and Usman can potentially be on the court at the same time. He definitely has to work on his defense. He has to move on his lateral quickness. He has to just be able to move with the smaller forwards, the bigger forwards. But I am definitely excited to see Şengün's potential in year 1. Next up, we're going to be talking about the 6'8" forward from Real Madrid. His name is Usman Garuba. I made a whole entire different video on this guy because I think he has the potential to be Draymond Green-esque. And he is such a polished defender at 19 years old. And like I said in my other video, him and Chris Duarte are the most polished prospects coming into this class, respective to what they do. Duarte is a sniper from the offensive end, and Garuba is a defensive monster. And he has shown all the ability in the world to be able to defend an NBA level in Real Madrid. His box score stats don't jump at you at all. He was not involved in the offense at all in Real Madrid. Neither was he involved in this year's Olympics. they just used him as a utility guy, like a PJ Tucker guy, sort of say, where he's not really involved in the offense, but he's really out there for defensive purposes. And he's shown flashes. He's shown his potential in the Olympics, being able to guard Kevin Durant, being able to stay in front of the USA players, and just becoming a real anchor for that Real Madrid defense. And he's gonna come over to Houston this year. He has to work out a buyout situation with Real Madrid, but once I see him step on the court, I fully expect him to get some minutes right off the jump in the Rockets roster. If anybody's going to the Vipers, I think it's Şengün, and I think it's Josh Christopher, but I think Garuba is the most NBA ready defender coming into this league from this draft class, and I can't wait to see his defensive potential on display in year one. The last player we're going to be talking about today is 6'5" guard out of Arizona State. His name is Josh Christopher, and I've seen a lot of people kind of skeptical of this pick when it happened at 24. People were just saying this pick was just made because he has a close relationship with Jalen Green, but I don't really think that's the case. A lot of mocks had him in the early second round, but you know, he really shown his potential at Arizona State. He can really become a two-way player. I really think he can become an Eric Gordon type of player, how he was in 2016, 2017 when he won the Sixth Man of the Year. He's shown the ability to defend on ball. He's shown the ability to shoot the ball. As in the later half of his collegiate career, he was shooting 45% from catch and shoot threes. He's shown the ability to become a driver, a slasher, and when he's coming downhill, that guy is crazy, bro. I don't think you can stop him if he's coming downhill, because he's just built so differently from these other 6'5" guards. You can call him like Rafael Stone said, he's like a Drew Holiday type of player, like the way he's built, and he's just big. And if he can become a more consistent three-point shooter, which he's shown the ability to do, and just become a better defender in the NBA level, and I think he'll get some reps to start in the Viper G League. But other than that, I think he'll come up, be a really solid player, and if he reaches his full potential, I think he can become a Eric Gordon type of player, a two-way player who can do everything on the floor. And if you can add a little playmaking to his game, it's just a bonus at that point, because he was picked at 24 and people were complaining about the pick. A lot of Rockets fans were saying how there were Jaden Springer, there was Jared Butler on the board, but I really think this was the right pick for the construction of this roster and a good use of those later 20 picks. And I can't wait to see what Jacob does his first year. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a sub if you did. It's greatly appreciated over here. And on to the next one, man. Peace.